Hello lovelies and welcome to the channel. Chrissy with you today with a 12x12 scrapbook page. So today I'm doing something different, but I'm not. It's a mixed media background, yes, but I don't think I've ever made a background on black cardstock before. So that's where it's a little different for me. Usually it's only white cardstock. I don't even think I've ever used pattern paper. But I really wanted, after playing around in my first video with the bling and seeing how it works on all different, after my little play around, I really wanted to try it on some black cardstock to see how well the shimmer shows up. And oh my goodness, wasn't I surprised? It was amazing. And the sad part is I just don't think this video is going to do it justice. Hopefully maybe the photos might, but this shimmer and this gold there's no words for it. It is just amazing. This spray mist, when applied to black cardstock, is just something different altogether. It looks completely different than what it did on any of the white cardstock I used. It's just amazing. So I knew I wanted to use this on a wedding layout for my sister's wedding album. Now I know you're thinking, why are you using a black page for a wedding layout? Well, my sister's colours just happen to be black and gold. So this worked perfectly. And how could I not use that background? It was just gorgeous. I love how it turned out. Only problem was, after doing the background, I had no clue what else I wanted to do with the page. But I knew that I did want to use this vellum because, you know, we've got more of that gold, and I thought that the vellum would just soften it a little bit. Not take away from that black and gold background, but soften it enough because it is a wedding layout. And I'm really happy with how it works. Now, the photo is a picture of my sister and brother-in-law taken sort of in silhouette up against the sunset sky. Now, to go with this black and gold layout, what I did was I turned down the saturation of this photo a lot. I wanted to go with a black and white photo, but I couldn't find one I liked. And then I found this and thought this could work, but I didn't want to take away from that sunset either. So I just turned the saturation way down. So it is still a colour photo, but it's a very, very light colour photo. And I have to admit, I'm really happy with how it turned out. So if you want to try a product or try a colour scheme and it doesn't match your photo, best thing to do, turn it black and white, which was what I had intended to do. But, you know, the process I used for this worked as well. Turning the saturation right down on this photo still worked out the way I was hoping. So I was quite happy with that. I'm really, really happy with how this goes. So she's made me a deal. I have to finish her wedding album before I'm allowed to start my niece's album. I have a 2-week-old niece. She is adorable and she smells so good. So naturally I have lots and lots of pretty girl photos now. If you've watched any of our videos in the past, you'll know I have 2 sons, 2 nephews. Luna is the first little girl born into our family, and it's really exciting. And yeah, so I've got lots of little girl pictures that I want to scrap and, you know, finally use up all those girl embellishments that I've just been collecting from the kits. But yes, I have to finish the wedding album first. She's coming up on her 4th wedding anniversary in September, which is still ahead of mine. It took me 5 years to do mine, so that's what I tell her every time she asks me about it. But I found that this kit and this colour scheme was absolutely perfect for a wedding layout, so I was really excited by that. So I'm going through the ephemera and I'm looking for things that I can use. Now, like I said, I didn't really know what I wanted to do to embellish this photo. I don't put a title on it. Or not a big title anyway. I use one of the cut aparts and I figure it works for a title. But in the wedding album, I find that you don't need titles because you know what the day's all about. And I find that it's more about scrapping the photos than the story. So, you know, like, you know what the story is. It's a wedding. It's a very pretty wedding. And I feel that not all of the layouts need a title. So it works well that when I put one of these little phrases on there. So I'm happy with that. I'm getting better at my clusters, I feel. And I'm getting better at using flowers because we know I don't use flowers very well because of all the boy and masculine layouts I do with the stars and the crosses and all sorts of stuff, and the mixed media, of course. But I'm getting better at using flowers. I like how they cluster together, and I like how you can layer them, and, you know, and they do work for wedding layouts very well. So I've just I found a black and gold piece that obviously goes well with the layout, And I think, what did it say? Something about love, or I can't remember, and the thingy on my screen's blocking it, so I can't read it to you. But I decided to use that on my cluster to pop it up, and I popped it up on foam dots, and then I've just built my flower cluster underneath that. And then the gold foil hearts, I wanted to pop them in there as well and just make this little cluster dimensional. And yeah, I put some bling in there in the end. Then I decide I need some more hearts, but I don't want to add any other colours. I don't want to add the pink or the green. So I decide to use this mist once again and turn these cut-out hearts from the exclusive ephemera and turn them gold. This process was a little more time consuming, and I do mess it up to begin with, but basically I just got my mist out, sprayed my craft sheet. My craft sheet is so dirty, so I get a lot of colour transfer when I do this. So what I should have done is put it on paper towel, which is what I do in the end. And then I just spray it with the mist. Now, with the mist, because it is a shimmer mist, it did take a couple of layers. And I did the same thing on my background that I forgot to mention. Very important to dry it in between. If you don't dry it, you're just going to keep moving around all that wet media. So because I wanted, especially on the background, I wanted to build up the layer. Once I put my first layer down, I dried it and then went back in. And that's exactly what I did with the hearts as well. Dried them and then put more on top. I was a little impatient and they weren't 100% dry when I went to adhere them down in this section here. So I do manage to take off a little bit of gold on my fingers while I'm sticking them down, but I do go and fix that up in the end of the video. I just, tap on a little bit extra. So I wasn't really sure if this worked because, we usually go for the 3-point triangle or, a title or something to balance out your layout. And I didn't really have anything because that photo and that vellum took up a lot of space. So I wasn't 100% sure if this was, going to work. But in the end, I'm happy with it. And it's another photo documented in the album. So yes, I did just rip that heart and make a mess, but I'll fix that up too. But yeah, so I just use the hearts to sort of draw your eye around that background. So they're not big embellishment clusters, but I think that they do the job. I add some little gems up there, some rhinestones. Rhinestones are my go-to for weddings, and my rhinestones are my go-to for everything. But on layouts like this, they really work to add something to your clusters and add a little more dimension. So yeah, really happy with that. I always have an abundance of just plain rhinestones, and I love it when we get them in the kits. But yeah, so this is where I'm just touching up those hearts that I messed up, and that's going to be it for my layout. So I'm really happy with this, especially considering I used a big, bold cardstock colour for the background. I'm really happy the way this worked out. So I really hope you check out the pictures, and I hope that they do some kind of justice to this because the gold is amazing on the background. So thanks for watching, and I'll be back real soon with a new video. Bye!